What's going on, guys?
What the fuck is up? Shit, wasn't ready.
Never ready.
Oh my god.
You want to try again?
No, I want to keep it going.
All right. What's going on, guys? We are back. What up? What up?
You got me off.
Oh, God. Guys, hey, listen, guys. We are back with another exciting episode of Popular Culture, your dynamic duo. I'm Chris.
And I'm Rico. What up, what up? I had to throw it in there.
Finally, you got it. He had to squeeze it in there.
Squeeze it
You're not even starting the timer. But anyway, today's episode, we are talking about Agatha All the Way.
Issue 1 and 2, huh?
Episode.
They're all comics to me.
Episode 1, 2, and 3, because you were behind a week.
There's a 3 out?
You said you watched 3.
Isn't that when they go into the house?
Yes, that's 3.
Oh, yeah, I watched it.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Well, I took it the first day it came out as one long episode that I almost fell asleep through. But hey, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Can we roll the credits?
Yeah.
Roll the intro.
Poppin' with the culture.
Pop it like it's hot.
Poppin' with the culture.
Pop it like it's hot. Taking it top until the top. Now you're ready to pop. Look up in the sky. It's a bird or a plane.
No!
It's Rico Driver, Chris Insane. Talking about Spider-Man, Batman, Joker, Mary Jane. Keeping a real Man of Steel with a comic book game.
Poppin' with the culture.
Pop it like it's hot.
Poppin' with the culture.
Pop it like it's hot.
Keeping a real Man of Steel with the comic book game. With the comic book game. With the comic book game.
And we're back to Rico being a punk. Because, you slept through. I don't know how you slept through. It was pretty cool.
To who?
To me. So it's my many of notes I have taken through those episodes. Hold on, I got so many notes.
Yeah, by the time we found that, by the way.
Listen, I got so many things going on. Listen, I can't keep track.
Agatha is a cool show, and I am interested in it. I did fall asleep throughout the second episode.
Oh, so what?
But it was
that
burn
from your late night of binging, drinking all night long? Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was drinking.
That would do it.
I was drinking. Sorry.
Drinking your sorrows away.
Drinking and reading comics, huh?
Yeah, what a life. Anyway, so Agatha, we're on the spin-off show of WandaVision. Right?
Yeah.
And I liked Agatha as a character, but then through the episode, because she's just so extra, and I was watching a lot of interviews that they kept that extraness because it was like kind of like a Broadway show. Like if you see her mannerism, and if you've been in a play or if you've gone to a play, they have to elaborate their expressions and their mannerisms so that way people in the audience can see. Mm-hmm. So she's just so much extra.
She's a theater student.
Yeah, she's like a theater student.
And wasn't she part of Saturday Night Live as well?
No, I think it was someone else.
Oh.
But she was in Bad Mom.
Yeah, but that's not where... When I first found out about her was... oh my goodness. With Will Ferrell. And Will Ferrell and J.C. Riley.
Oh, Sharon. I was going to say Sharon Thorpe.
Oh my goodness.
What am I thinking about?
40. They're like 40-year-old brothers stuck in like their
40-year-old virgin?
No, definitely not that. Oh my goodness, Step Brothers?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember her? They first showed her. She was driving down the street with her husband and her 2 kids in the back seat, and they were singing "Sweet Child of Mine." Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, "Daryl, I just want to feel you inside of me." You don't remember that?
Yes.
And feel your curly hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't touch the hair.
Right up. Oh, she had me at inside me.
Okay, so
was that a good? That was good,
I
right?
guess so.
Yeah, why not?
All the way inside. See what you did?
But yeah, what a great actor. And
speaking of which, when did we go from the difference? We always said actor and actress, and then now everyone's an actor. It's like, like a thing?
Yeah, I think that's a thing. I think that's a good thing. You know, like why not?
Guy, girl, man, female.
Well, think about it like this: you wouldn't say postman and postwoman. It's
post person.
Post person. You know, just keep it simple. They both have the same job.
I guess so.
You know. And then if you think about it, an actor does not have to always identify as an individual because an actor has to be everything.
Yes.
All at once.
I prefer actors that have do character acting.
Yeah.
Because then you're actually like the Penguin, which we'll get to in another episode.
Man.
where they have to really get into a role or a different person. Where you have actors, say like Brad Pitt, right? He doesn't really do characters per se. It's always kind of a little bit of Brad Pitt. Like he's always eating something, right?
Always. 40 years in Tibet, he did have a different accent. From Newfoundland, I want to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, they still some roles they get into like different accents and stuff like that, or like George Clooney. George Clooney's always George Clooney,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or The Rock is sometimes he's a pebble, sometimes he's a mountain. Still a rock,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's very true.
we're getting off topic here. Back
Agatha.
into Agatha. So there are a lot of things. There are a lot of little tidbits in there that are part of the comic ethro. Lore. Yes.
Yeah.
So there we go. So there's a lot of things that are part of the lore that they take straight from the comics. Like there's a lot of scenes that they take from the comics, and I think a lot of things is Marvel really dives into the comics and gets a lot of the information, a lot of the lore, and puts it into the show or movies. But I don't think people realize or appreciate it. But if you go in and dive into what's happening in the show or movies, they're pulling it from the comics. So when they're like, "Oh, do it comic accurate," they are. People that are saying like do comic accurate, you just don't know what it is, because if you dove into the history, anything before the 90s, you went to the 70s, stuff like that. You have a lot of lore that the comics pull from, the shows pull from.
Not to get off subject, but I feel as though when people say that there should be more comic book accuracy, they should really think about what they mean when they say that. Because I feel as though when a lot of people say the phrase is not comic book accurate, they're talking about one particular comic book, and it's not running with that storyline. But what I've noticed that MCU does,
They mash
stories together
Sure.
to make a story.
Yeah.
So they're not, like you said, they're not making things up. They're just pulling pieces from here, pulling pieces from there, from Volume 1, Issue 2, Volume 3, Issue 5, or what have you. And they're basically making a not a really original, but just a adaptation of what comic book accuracy is. And I can flow with that. I'm feeling that.
Well, it's something like a novel, say like Harry Potter. I was talking to my little guy the other day because he was talking about Harry Potter, and if you look at the screen adaptation of it, it's parts of the book. It's not the whole book. Because they have to cut it down because, I mean, some of the later books, they're like that big, that thick. They're like 600 pages in. The first book's only like half of that, so they have to squeeze all that information in. Into say a 2-3 hour movie.
Yeah.
So they can't squeeze everything. So they have to piece it, chop it up, and to get a coherent screenplay.
And on the fact that an average comic book, it takes you about 15 minutes to read a comic book. You can't stretch 15 minutes into 2 hours plus. So they're gonna have to take certain issues and certain things to make a well-rounded story. Because if not, every comic book movie would end in like 30 minutes or less with a to be continued.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's how we wind up getting shows, because with the Disney Plus shows, all the MCU shows, they're an hour long, and so say you have a 6-episode series, right? Season, each one's an hour. Say a Marvel movie's averaging almost 3 hours. You got 2 full movies.
Yeah,
right.
that's true. Good point.
So. And then just thinking about, we'll talk about it for Penguin because prosthetics and having to do that for how many episodes they're going to be doing.
It started with 5 hours, they narrowed it down to 2, but yeah, we'll get back to that.
All right. So go ahead. So what was your take on Agatha, other than the fact that you fell asleep?
Well, I fell asleep in the second episode, but I'll get to that. The first episode, honestly, when I first watched it, I knew something was off. I'm like, well, why is Agatha a police officer? And it was on top of that, I noticed that the acting looked bad. Like, it just looked bad. And then it started to come around when she realized that something's not right. And then the kid broke her spell. And then the whole movement of the show shifted, and the production and the acting became better. And that's when I really started to go, okay, let's sit down and really, invest time into this. And, I like the show because I like WandaVision.
Well, the beginning of the show is a play on another show, Mirror of Westview, because they're in Eastview.
Yeah.
It's almost a scene by scene adaptation of Mirror of Westview, and that because she's a cop and everything, and she's playing herself as a cop, and then later on when she's talking to, she realizes that she's part of not who she actually is, and she goes to the neighbor. When she's talking to the neighbor, he goes, "Yeah, you've been talking about all crazy stuff," because in her head she's playing all these different characters.
Yeah.
So it's done weird on purpose. And then when she goes, "Oh, is she alive?" And he goes, "He most definitely is dead." Right? That's actually a bit from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when the Munchkins, the Munchkins, right?
Yeah.
He goes, Dorothy asks what happened with the witch, and he goes, "She most definitely is dead," because that's a take on another witch.
Gotcha. Okay.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
Okay. So do you think Wakanda? Oh no, Wakanda.
Wanda?
Wanda Romanoff. Yeah. You think she's a Scarlet Witch? You think she's done?
I think she's alive.
Yeah.
I think this is all because the hex that most likely is, or the what do they call it? Not a rune. Anyway, the spell on the teenager.
Yeah.
That's probably Billy.
I think personally. Remember.
And then you see the swiggle. That's an M for Maximoff.
Yeah. But I think me personally.
Yeah.
We'll find out at the end of this. I think that is Agatha's son, that she gave up for the Darkhold.
Yes, that was the other take on it.
That's what I think it is.
Yes.
But like I did notice on the toe tag of that deceased lady, it did say Wanda on it. So could that just be her imagination? Could that just be the spell that she was once under, and it was an illusion? So we are looking at it through her perspective. So, we're misguided as well.
Sure. I mean, so the person that's dead, I think, is supposed to be Wanda, because you see her hands are all burnt from the Darkhold.
Yeah.
You see pretty much the same
The hoodie and blue
outfit
jeans.
and blue
Yeah.
jeans from the last time you see her inside the town before she turns into the Scarlet Witch. What?
I bet you, she is the variant. Remember we saw a variant?
Ah, yes.
I think that's her.
You think the variant?
Yeah, man, I think that's the variant. Oh, I hope I didn't spoil it, but if I did...
No, that's good. We'll come back and be like,
Yeah.
hey, go check out.
Boom!
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the show is supposed to be takes on different shows or realities, and it's funny because when I was watching watching it the first time through, I was like, oh, if at the end of this she could play as a good cop, her next role would be a cop. She played it pretty good, I think, but in the field, it was good there. But then when she was like talking to the captain or the chief inside the precinct, it was just so extra. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was just like so extra over the top. But she was like, well, like, nah. And I'm like, man, just.
But now that
a little bit.
But like now that I'm talking to you about it, I can think back on it, and it was a betrayal of those cheesy cop movies where she's probably divorced and she drinks herself stupid and then wakes up and smokes cigarettes, and she's always on suspension.
Yeah.
And it does make sense that she's portraying that, especially the fact that WandaVision portrayed almost every 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s sitcom.
Yep.
So that would be a remnant of how the show began. So yeah, I guess overall that you changed my mind. Okay, episode 1 was pretty cool. Here we go, episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah, where I was hitting the snooze. I was hitting the snooze button on that one.
Well, why? Because she was on a hunt for her coven. She was all. It was like the chase, not the chase. It was like the hunt for finding the people that are going to help her.
Yeah.
Open the road up because she needs a coven to open the door to the road.
I think it was just a slow burn, and it was a drawn out buildup. Like it was like I understand that there has to be step one through such and such, so it all makes sense. You can't just throw these people together and expect us to understand. But I feel as though they could have summed that up a lot quicker. I liked it was pretty cool to meet all those different personalities, and also we get to find out that I don't remember which witch she is, but she is part of Hansel and Gretel. She's the witch that got pushed into the oven.
Oh, she doesn't say because she says her friend.
Yeah,
Her friend got pushed into
So
the oven.
I like those little cues and puns that it brings certain things together, and if you know, you know. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
And then so all those witches that she meets are all characters from the comics too. So you can't forget that. Like all those are actual characters from the comics. So again, they are pulling characters from the comics, not just like, oh, who's this witch they're trying to use, whatever. So yeah, if you dive into a little more information before people are like, "Argh."
I heard a rumor that people were talking about the kid with no name.
Teen?
The
the teen.
teen, yeah, the teen. That the kid that he was talking to on the phone is either friends with Totally Awesome Hulk, or is the totally awesome Hulk.
Totally awesome. Huh?
Yeah, there's a second Incredible Hulk in Marvel, but he is played by an Asian guy who becomes a different version of the Incredible Hulk.
Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk.
He said-
Excuse me, Hulk.
He said Hawk.
No, not the bird.
Caw-caw.
Yeah, the
Hulk.
Yeah, but
Oh, that's Andrew Chow? No.
yeah, something like that. And but I heard someone coming through the shop was telling me about that person is in cahoots with that version of the Incredible Hulk, but the Totally Awesome version, or that could be him. And I'm like, well, isn't he supposed to be Asian? But then again, these shows nowadays,
Yes.
does it really matter?
Well, yes, the Awesome Hulk.
Yeah.
You got me saying it.
Sorry.
Awesome Hulk is Asian. Something, I think Chow. I'm terrible with names.
He's part
Anyway.
of Champions
Yeah. So
or Outlaws.
yeah. But they go on a hunt to gather all the people, and I think the cool part was I'm a sucker for musicals, so they did the ballad of
That was cool.
the ballad of the road of the Witch's Road.
That was really cool.
Down.
You remember it? No, we're on it now. Do it.
I don't know it.
You don't
Maybe that
remember
was
it?
Yeah, that was about it.
Oh my goodness! You guys almost got a good
yeah,
show.
you know, was it? Down.
Yeah, see,
the
he
witches.
wants to. Oh my goodness!
So that was cool, and then the seven. Who was it? That they were chasing them. The Salem Seven. The Salem Seven are the actually our grandchildren. The Salem Seven is supposed to be our grandchildren, Agatha's grandchildren, because they were going to take because she winds up taking over in the comics. Let me think about this. The libraries went. Let me see. Chief back. Hold on. One second, guys. Naked, being brown animals are familiars. Oh, the animals. So we got the animals are the familiars of the Salem Seven. Mm-hmm. Yep. Fake car. Oh, the fake car scene when she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna drive," and she's like,
Oh my yes!
"This isn't a car."
It's so not.
Silly me. You're driving.
So risky being fully frontal nude on Disney Plus,
She has her hair in front.
but it's
And then the cropped out.
Disney Plus.
They have
Wow.
They have Deadpool 1 and 2 on Disney Plus.
Good point, but I wasn't prepared for that because usually it says violence, something, nudity, graphic language.
Oh, yeah, and then you got butt cheeks.
Yeah. I was like, there's.
Did you go to the kids like, "Don't look"?
Well, no, but my kids were like, "Yeah, there's her butt cheeks," and I was like,
And you're
"Yeah,
like,
there
"Don't
is."
look."
I was like,
I know
"No,
you're very
man,
protective.
Take it in,
You're very protective.
take it in, man."
Good dad. Good dad. Let me see. Descendant of Baron Mordo owned the book of Callistico. Cagliostro.
I feel like we're going to see Destro.
Destro?
Yeah.
You talking about the right person?
No, Manifesto.
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Because they dropped Mephisto.
Yeah.
Mephisto. Yeah.
Guy that's playing Borat. Guy that played Borat is supposed to be playing Mephisto.
Oh.
Mephisto. Oh, my goodness.
Crazy part is, I didn't
guy.
know Man-Thing is a guardian of a Nexus reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know that. So that was my little hunting down of some research. Didn't know that.
You think we're gonna see Man-Thing?
Maybe.
We've already seen him, so he exists. Mm-hmm. So could happen. Could
Slasher.
happen.
I gotta write better penmanship for my notes because I can't even tell what. Look at this. Can't even read that stuff.
This guy
Gobbledygook. Anyway,
thinks he's a doctor over here.
so I play one on TV.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
All right, so they get down the road, and then they take their shoe. They get down to the road. They get onto the witch's road, and they take their shoes off. You know why they take the shoes off for?
Why?
Because they have to go barefoot. It's in the ballad of
Yeah.
the witch's road. Anyway, just thought if you caught that. So then we get into episode 3, right?
Can we not ignore the fact that Mom from that '70s show?
I don't like her. She annoys me. Yes.
Red.
Yeah,
Why?
No, her voice.
Oh
and
my
then,
God,
And then it's like you get her real voice in episode 3 where she's like, "This is ridiculous." I'm like, "Oh, that's what you really sound like."
That's what she really sounds like.
Yeah. So her voice irritates me.
Not a fan?
No, I'm like, shut up. Like, stop, stop.
She was. I felt as though that she was one of those characters that she was supposed to be the comic relief, but it was like there was nothing funny about her. And then I didn't realize how much I missed her or wanted her in the show until she died.
No, good riddance.
No, I hope she comes back. Because like now I'm like, man, like
They might bring her back because she had the moonstone and they all had like different stones.
but is she a witch? She can't be a witch. She's not a witch.
No, but they might bring her because she's on the witch's road.
Yeah, but that's what I didn't understand. Like she's clearly not a witch, but you needed a witch. You needed all of those people needed to be witches in order to do the spells to get to the witch's road. So
How did she?
I don't know.
Well, that's what Agatha was saying. Is like last time this was a little faster, so the lack of one person made it that much slower. It wasn't as powerful to open the door.
Well, how many are there total? Because maybe she's just a +1.
No,
And then the
No,
dude's
there
a
was-
witch. He can't be a witch. He's a warlock. Just saying.
yeah, but
Just saying.
magical powers, witch or warlock. Oh, how come you can't call him a witch?
Because he's a warlock.
Ah,
Like
we just talked about
what?
this.
He is a warlock.
Why come they're all not warlocks? Warlocks.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Full circle,
I
people.
see where this is going.
Full circle.
I guess. Oh, you're not gonna reel me into that.
Yeah, I did.
Hey man, he's whatever he wants to be.
Right,
Bro.
uh-huh.
He's a magical entity.
Oh.
Yes, that's what he is. Yep.
Anyway, so
Anyway.
so they get it. They find the beach, which kind of like a reminiscence of again Wizard of Oz when they get off of the Yellow Brick Road and they go into the field of daisies, pixies,
Yes.
posies, whatever, the
Daisies.
flowers, to get to the Emerald City. So, but then it's kind of a reminiscence of that. Another witch story, and then they get to the house, and the door is the moon's, right? Which is fun fact that the different phases is also representation of the the brooch that Agatha wears.
Yeah.
It's the I forget the name of the ladies on there. They all represent a different face of the moon. The three different women are on her brooch.
Okay.
Are different faces of the moon. Fun little fact for you there.
Okay.
And then they go into the house and they have to do little trials. And Agatha's like, I ain't having none of this.
Yep, pulls it right into the plants.
And then
They
it
all
filled back up.
got Botox. Like, man, like ooh, it was bad. It was real bad.
Bad Botox.
That every like you were saying, every episode is pulled from the comics, but I don't recall any of. And I read a lot of comics, especially when it comes to Darkhold or anything with Wanda or Doctor Strange, and I rarely ever see Agatha in anything. And 2 years ago, the Darkhold comic book came out. It was like a 7-part series, and you briefly meet them, and then you meet Scarlet Witch's kids. Outside of that, like I'm not seeing any Easter eggs or anything that's relating to any comic book that I've read personally. What about you?
Well, I did some research. I haven't read like Scarlet Witch or those storylines, but so through my research, I found that it was very interesting where they pulled different stories from. That going on the Witch's Road, you have Scarlet Witch is there, and then you actually have Agatha as a subconscious to help wander through the Witch's Road. So she's not there. So I think they are bringing Agatha to the forefront for her own show because she was such a breakout character. She doesn't necessarily. She had like I think she had like a book, but because they made Agatha because Agatha originally is an older lady because Agatha is actually 450 years old.
Yeah.
So she's old. She's a couple of centuries old. And then there are new books that came out recently. She's young. She's got black hair with a gray streak, purple outfit, and everything. Still with that purple outfit. I love her. I love that jacket she wears. So nice.
She is pretty hot in this. Yeah,
Right.
no joke. And they picked a good person to play Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed lately with Agatha and with leading to Penguin, they're taking a lot of stories from villains, and
Loki.
yeah, and it's like I think it's really complimenting and it's really cool when a writer can make you root for the bad guy, but also allow that bad guy to be evil, but you can go, man, I hope she wins, I hope she prevails, and you root for her or him, and
Well,
I think that's great writing.
Well, Agatha isn't necessarily a bad person or.
She's bad, bro.
Well, she helps. No.
Nah. If she does anything, she's doing it for her own benefit until she doesn't need that person. Outside of that, she sold her infant for the Darkhold.
She was young. She didn't know
That
she was
is
going.
horrible.
She was young.
Yeah.
She wanted power.
Yeah. But it's cool. I think that's cool when they're introducing, they're allowing us to see Marvel shows or comics from the other side.
Well,
Well,
people.
of the fence.
Well, they always say like that the villain story is sometimes a lot better because it's much more complicated. Mm-hmm. Whereas where are they coming from? Why are they doing? What's their motivation? Whereas a hero is, I want to save the day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let those bullies get away with this. Mm-hmm. And they seen some tragic thing and they want to just protect everybody. So
Yeah.
it's a very cut dry reason why the heroes do what they do, whereas villains have a much more compelling story, so it can be a lot more story driven.
Okay, I can dig that.
Yeah.
So, what would you rate Agatha? In
Out
a
of
summary, all three.
All 3 out of
Yeah.
5. Right now, a 3.5. I want to say 4, but it's still early.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it'd be more up to 4. A low 4. Mm-hmm. Once probably this is all said and done. Right now it's 3.5 because, again, that extra, so much extra. I think it needs. If she dialed it back just a little bit, it wouldn't be so crazy. Mm-hmm. As you said, like the acting is kind of like crazy. But like the set design, the costumes and everything are beautiful. And I'm looking forward to the next episode, which is every Wednesday on Disney Plus. What about you, Riga?
I would also agree. I would give it a 3, mainly because, well, one, I feel like I can't invest in these characters. There's nothing about any of them as an individual that I'm investing in. So I'm not like really rooting for anybody. But the same rate, I'm looking forward to see what happens next. Like, if I miss an episode, I'm kind of like, all right, I'll catch it later. I'm not like looking forward to every week that it comes out so I can sit down and watch it. But I do want to know what's going on in the episode.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a 3, and hopefully this is just hitting mid-season. So I hope it changes for the better and it starts to get more active. I don't assume like every comic book movie needs to always have action and power. But if we're dealing with a covenant of witches let's not just throw, you know, a virgin's blood, a hair, some makeup, and you know, in
a
a
sink and
and no,
Sous vide.
really, like that's what we're doing. Like, please, somebody hit Agatha with their powers, because her power is to absorb other people's powers. So, like,
I think it was pretty good that, like, I guess maybe out of character to say, "Hey, my power is to steal your power, so hit me."
right? Like, I want to see. I can't wait to see Agatha at 100.
Mm-hmm.
And until that happens, like I said, it's just I'm just waiting to see that happen. So I'm gonna tune in, but like I'm not really.
You won't get that to the last episode.
Yeah, I hope we get a little essence of it. I hope, but we will see. We will see. And on that note,
That wraps this episode.
that wraps up this episode. So this is Rico, and this is Chris, and this is Pop New Culture. Peace.
Later, guys.
Are we? We're not even rolling yet. We're always rolling.
We're rolling now.
Welcome.
Well, if I'm sitting here now, we're rolling.
Oh, let's go.
I didn't even fix my hair. Make sure, because Marvin gets upset when my hair's not right.
I don't like your hair.
Whatever.